You might be familiar with the iceberg meme format, but have you ever wondered how it applies to the world of horror? Today we'll explore the terrifying layers of horror cinema, from the chilling classics everyone knows to the obscure nightmares hidden beneath the surface. So grab your flashlight, hold on to your sanity, and join me as we embark on a spine-tingling adventure. It's time to go deep into the shadows. Let's begin our journey by peeling back the first layer of the horror cinema iceberg, where you'll find some of the most iconic and spine-chilling horror films ever. These movies have terrorized us for decades, the classics that define the genre, and the monsters that haunt our nightmares. Friday the 13th gave birth to the unstoppable force of nature, Jason Voorhees. Ah yes, Friday the 13th. The mere mention of this date sends chills down your spine, doesn't it? But it was sometimes different from this. Before Jason Voorhees became an icon of terror, it was a small, unassuming camp in the woods. This franchise introduced us to the concept that no place is safe, not even a summer camp. The hockey mask killer Jason became synonymous with the franchise and one of the most iconic horror villains ever. It's a tale of revenge and a mother's twisted love that haunts the shores of Crystal Lake to this day. Those familiar with the series know that it's not just about the body count, it's about survival. There is a suspense in wondering who's going to be the next victim. Is it the final girl? Or will Jason claim another victim in a gruesome fashion? Friday the 13th is a perfect example of how horror films can take something seemingly innocent, like a summer camp, and turn it into a place of nightmares. It's a reminder that no matter how safe you feel, there's always a lurking danger. Moving on, we have Child's Play. And if you're afraid of dolls, this one will make you think twice before entering a toy store. Child's Play taps into one of our primal fears, that our toys might come to life, but not in the way we hoped. The story follows the possessed good guy doll, Chucky, who's inhabited by the spirit of a serial killer. It blends supernatural and slasher horror as Chucky terrorizes a young boy and his mother. What makes Child's Play alarming is that it takes something innocent and beloved by children, a doll, and turns it into a merciless killing machine. The idea that something that you trust and care for would suddenly turn on you is an upsetting concept that has resonated with audiences for years. Now let's talk about The Conjuring and its haunting spin-offs like Annabelle. These films brought us a new level of supernatural horror that kept us awake at night. The Conjuring universe, masterminded by James Wan, has overtaken the horror world. It redefined modern horror by blending elements of classic haunted house stories with a gripping family drama. The first film introduced us to paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, based on real-life paranormal investigators. Annabelle is just one piece of this terrifying puzzle. This creepy vintage doll became an instant horror icon. The concept of a cursed object that brings malevolent spirits into its owner's life is pure nightmare fuel. The Conjuring universe stands out because it takes time to build the tension, creating an atmosphere of dread that lingers throughout the film. It's not just about cheap jump scares, it's about the slow and steady unraveling of your nerves. Now on to Scream, the film that brought a meta twist to the slasher genre. Scream is a horror film for horror fans. It's a clever deconstruction of the genre, taking all the tropes and cliches and turning them on their head. It's a film that asks, what if the characters in a horror movie were self-aware? And it delivers an answer with a killer who's not only terrifying, but also incredibly intelligent. Scream is more than just a slasher. It's a commentary on the culture of fear and our fascination with violence. It challenges us to consider why we love horror and what it says about us as a society. Insidious took us on a journey into the world of astral projection and the supernatural. Directed by James Wan, who also brought us The Conjuring, Insidious explores the idea that our world is just a thin veil, separating us from the dark entities that dwell in another realm. The film cleverly blends the fear of the unknown with the fear of losing a loved one. The notion that a malevolent force could take over your child's body while they're trapped in a comatose state is deeply unsettling. Insidious reminds us that there are things beyond our understanding, lurking just out of sight, and it taps into our primal fear of the supernatural. The Ring is a film that turns a simple videotape into a symbol of pure terror. The premise is brilliantly simple. Watch the tape and you die in 7 days. It's the kind of horror that plays on our curiosity. as the characters in the film can't resist the urge to watch the cursed video. What makes The Ring so effective is its slow-burning tension and the sense of impending doom. It's not a film that relies on jump scares, it seeps into your subconscious. The Ring also taps into our fear of technology and the unknown. It reminds us that we can never truly escape the consequences of our actions. A Nightmare on Elm Street is a film that invades our dreams with the iconic Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is not just a killer, he's a nightmare incarnate. He haunts your dreams where you're most vulnerable, and if he kills you in your dream, you die in real life. What sets A Nightmare on Elm Street apart is its ability to blur the line between dreams and reality. It creates a sense of constant unease, as you're never sure what you're witnessing is real or a dream. Freddy Krueger became a horror icon for a reason. He connects with our apprehension of the unfamiliar and the inability to escape our minds. He's a reminder that even in our dreams, we're not safe from the horrors of the world. Lastly, we have The Grudge, a film that brought vengeance from beyond the grave. The Grudge is a chilling exploration of the supernatural, as it tells the story of a cursed house in Japan, where anyone who enters becomes a victim of a vengeful spirit. What makes this so unsettling is its relentless and malevolent spirit Kayako, who can strike at any moment. There's no escape, no place to hide. The Grudge resonates with our anxiety about what lies beyond our knowledge and our belief in curses. It's a reminder that the past can haunt us in the most terrifying ways. So, we've peeled back the top layer, and now it's time to plunge deeper into the icy waters, where the subgenre scares await. These films are not your typical horror fare. They belong to subgenres, pushing the boundaries of fear and taking us to disturbing places. Let's start with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a film that redefined the horror genre and gave birth to the slasher subgenre. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a visceral experience. It's raw, gritty, and unrelenting. The film's handheld cinematography and relentless brutality create an atmosphere of pure chaos and dread. This film's sense of realism makes it genuinely terrifying. It feels like it could happen to anyone, anywhere. Leatherface, the chainsaw-wielding killer, is a symbol of pure, unfiltered horror. Moving on to The Hills Have Eyes, a film that takes us to the desolate and unforgiving desert, where a family's vacation turns into a fight for survival. The Hills Have Eyes tap into our fear of isolation and unknown. It's a harrowing journey into a world where humanity has been stripped away, leaving only brutality and primal instincts. This film reminds us that horrors are waiting to be discovered even in the most desolate places. It's a relentless and unforgiving ride that never lets you catch your breath. Now let's talk about Saw, a film that introduced us to the subgenre of torture horror. Saw is not your typical slasher film. It's a mind-bending psychological horror that challenges the characters and the audience with moral dilemmas. The character of Jigsaw, with his intricate and gruesome traps, became an instant horror icon. His philosophy of testing the will to live is both horrifying and thought-provoking. Saw forces us to confront our own limits and the choices we would make to survive. It's a subgenre that dives deep into the darkest corners of the human psyche. House of a Thousand Corpses takes us into the realm of exploitation horror. This film, directed by Rob Zombie, is a chaotic and nightmarish trip through the twisted minds of the Firefly family. It revels in its own grotesqueness and refuses to hold back. House of a Thousand Corpses is a throwback to the exploitation films of the 70s, where shocking visuals and extreme violence were the norm. It's a subgenre that challenges our comfort zones and dares us to look away. Hostel takes us on a horrifying journey into the subgenre known as torture porn. This film, directed by Eli Roth, is not for the faint of heart. It explores the darkest corners of human cruelty as unsuspecting tourists fall victim to a secret organization that offers them up for torture. Hostel is a subgenre that pushes the boundaries of what is acceptable in horror cinema. It challenges us to confront our own tolerance for violence and gore. Tusk takes us into the world of body horror, where the transformation of the human body becomes a source of terror. This film directed by Kevin Smith, is a bizarre and unsettling tale of a man transformed into a walrus by a deranged scientist. It's a subgenre that explores the boundaries of physical and psychological horror. Tusk reminds us that our bodies are fragile, and that the idea of losing control of our own physicality is a profoundly unsettling concept. It's a subgenre that taps into our primal fear of bodily transformation. The Human Centipede takes body horror to a whole new level of grotesquerie. This film, directed by Tom Six, tells the disturbing story of a mad surgeon who sews 3 people together, mouth to anus, to create a grotesque human centipede. The Human Centipede challenges the limits of what we can endure as viewers. It's a subgenre that dares us to imagine the most horrifying and dehumanizing scenarios. Lastly, we have Midsommar, a film that takes us into the subgenre of folk horror. Midsommar is a visually stunning and alarming film that explores the horrors lurking beneath the surface of a seemingly idyllic Swedish commune. Folk horror subgenre draws its power from ancient traditions and the fear of the unknown. It's a subgenre that taps into our fascination with cults and the terrifying idea of isolation in a strange and unfamiliar place. Having examined the well-known masterpieces and taken a closer look at the various subgenre fears, it's time to confront the concealed horrors hidden beneath the exterior. These films are not for the faint of heart. They are the stuff of nightmares, the movies that push the boundaries of horror to their limits and beyond. Let's start with Salò or the 120 Days, a film that explores the darkest corners of human depravity. Salò is not just a horror film, it's a harrowing descent into the depths of human cruelty and sadism. Based on the writings of the Marquis de Sade, the movie takes place during the final days of World War II, when a group of sadistic fascists indulge in unspeakable acts of torture and degradation. Salò challenges the very notion of what can be shown on screen and forces us to confront the bleakest dimensions of human nature. It's a film that leaves a lasting impression, not easily forgotten. Martyrs takes us on a relentless journey into the realm of extreme horror. This French film, directed by Pascal Laugier, is a brutal exploration of pain, suffering, and transcendence. It tells the story of a young woman who seeks revenge on those who tortured her as a child. Martyrs is not just about physical torture. It delves deep into the psychological and existential torment of its characters. It challenges our understanding of horror and asks difficult questions about the nature of suffering. Pink Flamingos is a film that defies all conventions and celebrates the grotesque. Directed by John Waters, this film is a surreal, transgressive journey into underground cinema. It features Divine, a drag queen who reveals in her own filthiness, and the film's shocking, taboo-breaking scenes have made it infamous. Pink Flamingos challenges societal norms and takes pleasure in pushing the boundaries of good taste. It's a film that asks us to confront our preconceptions about what is acceptable in cinema. A Serbian film is a controversial and deeply disturbing exploration of human degradation. This Serbian film, directed by Srđan Spasojevic, tells the story of a retired porn star who's lured back into the industry only to find himself involved in increasingly horrifying and morally reprehensible acts. A Serbian film was infamous for its explicit and shocking content. It raises questions about the limits of artistic expression and the responsibility of filmmakers. The Human Centipede 2 takes the concept of body horror to new extremes. This sequel to the original Human Centipede film is directed by Tom Six and goes even further in its grotesque premise. It tells the story of a disturbed man obsessed with creating a human centipede. The Human Centipede 2 challenges the limits of what can be portrayed on screen and forces us to confront the sheer brutality of sadism of its central character. It's a film that disturbs and unsettles in equal measure. Cannibal Holocaust is a film that blurs the line between fiction and reality. This Italian film, directed by Ruggero Deodato, is presented as a found footage documentary about a group of filmmakers who go missing in the Amazon rainforest while filming a documentary about indigenous tribes. Cannibal Holocaust is notorious for its realistic and disturbing animal cruelty and violence. It raises questions about the ethics of filmmaking and the exploitation of real-life suffering for entertainment. Suicide Club is a Japanese film that explores the dark and enigmatic world of urban horror. Directed by Sion Sono, the film tells the story of a wave of mysterious suicides in Tokyo and the following investigation, leading to a disturbing underground culture. Suicide Club explores our unease when faced with the mysterious and the idea that there are hidden forces at work in the modern world. It's a film that challenges our understanding of reality and the fragility of our existence. The House That Jack Built takes us into the mind of a serial killer. Directed by Lars von Trier, this film tells the story of Jack, a knowledgeable but deeply disturbed individual who embarks on a killing spree while reflecting on his actions and his place in the world. The House That Jack Built is a disturbing exploration of the psychology of a serial killer. It compels us to face the darkness that resides within the human soul. Shoujo Tsubaki is a Japanese animated film that delves into the surreal and grotesque world of Iro Guro Nansensu. This film is known as Midori. It tells the story of a young girl who's taken by a circus troupe and subjected to the bizarre and horrifying events. Shoujo Tsubaki challenges our perceptions of reality and delves into the surreal and macabre. It's a film that disturbs and fascinates in equal measure. We now step into a realm where horror transcends traditional boundaries, delving into films that challenge our fears and our very understanding of cinema and humanity. These films, often controversial and extreme, push the envelope in terms of content, style, and the emotional responses they evoke. Tetsuo, the Iron Man, a Japanese cyberpunk classic, intertwines body horror with a Kafkaesque metamorphosis, creating a nightmarish vision of the technological invasion of the human body. Slow Torture Puke Chamber, part of the infamous Vomit Gore trilogy, is an assault on the senses, presenting a grotesque spectacle that challenges the viewer's capacity for disgust and endurance. Life and Death of a Porno Gang, a Serbian film, merges shocking visuals with a commentary on desperation and the extent to which people will go to for money and fame, set against a backdrop of societal decay. August Underground, presented a series of home video recordings, offers an unflinching and nihilistic look at serial killers, devoid of any glamorization, making it one of the most disturbingly realistic portrayals of violence. Snuff 102, an Argentinian film, is a meta-commentary on violence in media, questioning the viewer's complicity in consuming such extreme content under the guise of exploring snuff films. Slaughtered Vomit Dolls delves into the psychological horror, combining elements of eating disorders, self-harm, and a descent into madness, all portrayed through the visceral lens of vomit gore. Guinea Pig, a Japanese series infamous for its graphic depiction of gore and torture, tests the limits of what's acceptable under the guise of fictional entertainment, often mistaken for reality due to its extreme realism. Necromantic, a German film, explores the taboo subject of necrophilia in a way that's both disturbing and strangely poetic, challenging the audience's preconceptions about love, death, and sexuality. Melancholy der Engel, a German underground film, is an exploration of existential despair and moral degradation. Notorious for its length, challenging content, and the way it pushes the viewer to the brink of their comfort zone. Where the Dead Go to Die, an animated film, stands out for its surreal and nightmarish imagery, delving into themes of childhood innocence corrupted, hellish visions, and unspeakable horrors. Juvenile Crime, a lesser-known yet impactful film, addresses the unsettling issue of youth violence and delinquency, portraying its consequences in a stark and realistic manner. Philosophy of a Knife, a lengthy and graphic depiction of the atrocities committed at Unit 731 during World War II, is as much a historical document as it is a horror film, unflinching in its portrayal of human cruelty. Regurgitated Sacrifice, another entry into the Vomit Gore series, delves deeper into the themes of self-mutilation and mental illness, presented in a surreal, nightmarish way that is both repulsive and hypnotic. Emerging from this exploration of the fringes of horror cinema, we're left to ponder the impact of these films. Are they a dark mirror reflecting societal taboos and hidden fears? Or do they exist purely to shock? And the answer may lie in the eye of the beholder. As we journey deeper into the abyss of the horror cinema iceberg, we encounter films that defy conventional boundaries and challenge our perception of horror. These are the unearthly horrors that few dare to explore. Brace yourselves for a descent into the darkest and most unconventional corners of cinematic horror. These films are not just extreme, they redefine the very meaning of the genre. Our first entry, Women's Flesh, My Red Guts, is a disturbing Japanese film that takes the grotesque to new heights. This film, directed by Tamakichi Anaru, is a surreal and nightmarish exploration of the human psyche, where the boundaries between reality and delusion blur into a horrifying nightmare. Women's Flesh, My Red Guts challenges our perceptions of sanity and forces us to confront the surreal and macabre. The film leaves an indelible mark on those brave enough to watch. Ostermontag is a German horror film that delves into the realm of disturbing psychological horror. Directed by Jörg Buttergeit, it's a film that tells the story of a man who becomes obsessed with a woman's corpse and embarks on a disturbing journey of necrophilia and violence. Ostermontag challenges our understanding of human obsession and the disturbing depths to which it can lead. It's a film that lingers in the darkest corners of the mind. Girl Hell 1999 is a Japanese exploitation film that explores the horrors of captivity and abuse. Directed by Daisuke Yamanaguchi, this film is infamous for its explicit content and unflinching portrayal of violence and degradation. Girl Hell 1999 challenges our understanding of exploitation cinema and the moral boundaries of storytelling. It's a film that leaves a haunting impact on its viewers. My Chan's Daily Life, the movie, takes us on a disturbing journey into the world of sadism and depravity. Directed by Sade Sato, this film is based on a manga of the same name and tells us the story of a woman who's subjected to increasingly horrifying acts of violence and abuse. Mei Chan's Daily Life, the movie, pushes the boundaries of extreme cinema and forces confronting the most somber aspects of human cruelty. It's a film that challenges our very tolerance for horror. Eccentric Psycho Cinema is a Japanese horror film that defies categorization. Directed by Shinya Tsukamoto, this film takes us on a surreal and nightmarish journey into the minds of its characters, where reality and delusion intertwine in unsettling ways. Eccentric Psycho Cinema challenges our perceptions of narrative structure and blurs the line between dreams and reality. It's a film that leaves us questioning our own sanity. Tumbling Doll of Flesh is a Japanese horror film that explores the depths of depravity and sexual violence. Directed by Tamakichi Anaru, this film is a disturbing and unflinching portrayal of sadism and brutality, pushing the limits of what can be shown on screen. Tumbling Doll of Flesh challenges our understanding of extreme cinema and compels us to face the most shadowy facets of human desire. It's a film that disturbs and shocks in equal measure. The Necrophiles is an American underground horror film that delves into the realms of necrophilia and the supernatural. Directed by Matt Jasel, this film is a disturbing exploration of taboo subjects and the horrors that lie beyond the grave. The Necrophiles challenges our notions of morality and the boundaries of horror storytelling. It's a film that leaves a lingering sense of unease. The Gateway Meat is a Canadian horror film that delves into the world of cannibalism and extreme violence. Directed by Ron DeCaro, this film is a relentless exploration of human cruelty and the horrors that can lurk within the human psyche. The Gateway Meat challenges our understanding of extreme horror and addresses the deepest shadows within the realm of humanity. The film leaves a disturbing imprint on the viewer's consciousness. The Taming of Rebecca is a German horror film that explores the boundaries of sadomasochism and psychological torment. Directed by Phil Jutzi, this film tells the story of a woman who becomes entangled in a web of sadistic desires and psychological manipulation. The Taming of Rebecca challenges our understanding of power dynamics and the psychology of submission. The film leaves us questioning the nature of consent and control. Our journey through the layers of the horror cinema iceberg has taken us to unimaginable depths. As we continue our descent, we'll encounter films that defy all conventions and challenges of the boundaries of what we consider cinema. Welcome to the 6th layer of unearthly horrors. Brace yourselves for a dive into the most disturbing and controversial films ever created. These are not just movies, they are experiences that push the limits of human endurance. Our first entry, Traces of Death, is a notorious series of films that takes us on a journey into the world's most gruesome and morbid realities. Directed by Damon Fox, these films are a disturbing compilation of real-life accidents, disasters, and acts of violence. They force us to confront the fragility of human life and the horrors in the real world. Traces of Death challenges our understanding of voyeurism and the ethical boundaries of filmmaking. The series leaves an unsettling imprint on those who dare to watch. Faces of Death is another infamous series that blurs the line between documentary and horror. Directed by John Allen Schwartz, these films purport to depict actual deaths and gruesome accidents. While some scenes are staged, the movie is a shocking exploration of our morbid curiosity. Faces of Death challenges our fascination with death and the fine line between reality and fiction. It's a series that has sparked debates about the ethics of portraying real-life suffering. Mondo Cane is an Italian documentary film that explores bizarre and shocking cultural practices from around the world. Directed by Paolo Cavara, Gualtiero Jacopetti, and Franco Prosperi, this film takes us on a voyeuristic journey into different societies' strange and unsettling customs. Mondo Cane challenges our perceptions of cultural relativity and the line between fascination and exploration. It's a film that forces us to question our biases and preconceptions. Junk films is a Japanese underground film movement known for its extreme and confrontational style. These films, often created by amateur filmmakers, push the boundaries of taste and decency. They explore taboo subjects and graphic violence in ways that defy traditional storytelling. Junk films challenges our understanding of cinematic arts and the line between creativity and provocation. They are a testament to the audacity of independent filmmakers. Africa Addio is a documentary film that depicts the tumultuous events surrounding the decolonization of Africa. Directed by Gualtiero Jacopetti and Franco Prosperi, this film is a controversial and an unflinching portrayal of violence, exploitation, and political upheaval in Africa during the 1960s. Africa Addio challenges our understanding of documentary ethics and the responsibility of filmmakers to represent historical events accurately. It's a film that has sparked debates about its portrayal of African cultures and conflicts. Buried in the Sand is a disturbing underground film that explores themes of isolation and psychological torment. Directed by Phil Stevens, this film is an avant-garde and experimental exploration of human suffering and the descent into madness. Buried in the Sand challenges our perceptions of narrative structure and pushes the boundaries of visual storytelling. It's a film that leaves us questioning our own sanity. Banned from Television is a compilation of graphic and controversial footage from around the world. This film, often presented as a shocking expose, features real-life accidents, crimes, and acts of violence deemed too explicit for television. Banned from Television challenges our fascination with the macabre and the ethics of presenting real-life suffering for entertainment. It's a film that leaves a disturbing imprint on its viewers. Orozco the Embalmer is a documentary that delves into the world of a Colombian embalmer and his grisly profession. Directed by Sergio Sanchez Suarez, this film explores death and its rituals. Orozco the Embalmer challenges our understanding of mortality and the often unsettling processes that follow death. It's a film that forces us to confront our own mortality. Death File Red is a Japanese horror film that explores the disturbing world of snuff films. Directed by Shinya Tsukamoto, this film is an unsettling exploration of voyeurism and sadistic desires. Death File Red challenges our understanding of voyeuristic horror and the moral boundaries of storytelling. It's a film that leaves us questioning the nature of our own fascination with violence. Arquivos da Morte Saga is a Brazilian documentary series that delves into gruesome and unsettling crime scenes. These films are an unflinching exploration of true crime and the horrors that lurk within society. Archivos de Morta Saga challenges our fascination with crime and the ethics of presenting real-life horrors in a documentary format. It's a series that forces us to confront the darkest aspects of human behavior. Black Metal Veins is a documentary that delves into the lives of individuals struggling with addiction and self-destruction. Directed by Lucifer Valentine, this film explores despair and the lengths people will go to escape their pain. Black Metal Vein challenges our understanding of addiction and the devastating consequences it can have on individuals and communities. It's a film that leaves a haunting impact on its viewers. As we venture into the deepest recesses of the Horror Cinema Iceberg, we reach a point where the unimaginable becomes a reality. Welcome to the bottom layer, where the abyss beckons with films that defy comprehension. Prepare yourselves for descending into the darkest, most obscure and often disturbing corners of cinematic horror. These are films that challenge every sense and sensibility. Our first entry, Death to Kufar, is a film that is shrouded in controversy and shock. The origins of this film are obscure, and it has gained notoriety for its extreme content that goes beyond what most can fathom. Death to Kufar was born in the underground world of independent filmmaking, emerging from the fringe of artistic expression. The enigmatic director, known only by a pseudonym, remains elusive, adding a mystery to the project. Death to Kufar challenges the very limits of what can be shown on screen. It's a narrative that takes a fearless plunge into the darkest recesses of the human psyche, exploring themes that push the boundaries of morality and social acceptance. It doesn't merely shock for the sake of shock, but instead forces viewers to confront humanity's uncomfortable and unsettling aspects, provoking thought and introspection. The film's unsettling and shocking imagery serves as a mirror reflecting the disturbing aspects of society and human nature, raising questions about the responsibility of filmmakers when it comes to the content that they may be deemed offensive or harmful. Some argue that Death to Kufar is a courageous attempt to explore the underbelly of human existence, shedding light on taboos and hidden fears often ignored in mainstream cinema. However, its extreme content has not been without its fair share of criticism and controversy. Critics and advocates for stricter content regulations argue that the film crosses ethical boundaries, potentially inciting violence and hatred. This debate has sparked discussions about artistic freedom versus societal responsibility, prompting many to question whether there should be limits to creative expression, especially when it could potentially harm or offend others. In its audacious journey into the heart of darkness, Death to Kufar has ignited intense emotions, from outrage and disgust to fascination and intellectual curiosity. It serves as a stark reminder that art has the power to challenge, provoke, and, at times, deeply disturb. The legacy of this controversial film will continue to haunt the world of cinema, forcing us to confront the complex issues of artistic freedom, morality, and the enduring impact of boundary-pushing storytelling. Gusso Milk 1-4 is a series of films that originate from the fringes of the underground cinema. Directed by an elusive and enigmatic filmmaker, these films take viewers on a surreal and bizarre journey that defies conventional storytelling. The director, known only by a cryptic pseudonym, has intentionally remained in the shadows, adding intrigue to the project. This deliberate anonymity only deepens the mystique surrounding Gusso Milk. Gusso Milk challenges our understanding of narrative structure and reality itself. The series unfolds like a fever dream, with each installment immersing audiences in a visually and thematically bewildering experience. The boundary between dreams and reality blurs as viewers are confronted with mind-bending sequences that leave them questioning their own perceptions. The films of Gusso Milk refuse to adhere to traditional storytelling conventions, opting for a disjointed and disorienting narrative style. Characters drift in and out of scenes without explanation, and time and space seem to warp and twist at the director's whim. As a result, Goose Milk leaves audiences bewildered and disoriented, pushing the boundaries of what cinema can achieve and challenging conventional notions of plot and structure. In its enigmatic and surreal exploration of the human psyche, Goose Milk has sparked intense debates among cinephiles and critics alike. Some view it as a groundbreaking work of avant-garde cinema, pushing the medium to its limits and challenging viewers to expand their understanding of art. Others, however, find it impenetrable and alienating, dismissing it as mere exercise in obscurity. Regardless of one's perspective, Goose Milk 1-4 is a unique and thought-provoking entry into underground cinema. It forces us to reevaluate our preconceived notions of narrative and reality, inviting us to explore the boundaries of human imagination and creativity in film. UNKB002 is a film that exists in the darkest corners of the internet, shrouded in mystery. Little is known about this film's origins or creators, and it has gained infamy for its graphic and unsettling content. UNKB002 emerged from the digital underbelly, seemingly without a traceable author or production team. This anonymity only adds to the intrigue and unease that surrounds the film. UNKB002 challenges our understanding of digital media and the boundaries of what can be disseminated online. Its content is a relentless barrage of disturbing and graphic imagery that pushes the limits of acceptability. The film forces viewers to confront the darkest aspects of human nature, leaving a lasting impression that is challenging to shake. The existence of UNKB002 raises profound questions about censorship and the responsibility of online platforms to regulate extreme content. While some argue that it represents a dangerous form of artistic expression that should be suppressed to protect viewers, others view it as a test of our commitment to free speech and unfiltered online information dissemination. In a world where digital content can be shared instantly and without restriction, UNKB002 is a stark reminder of the challenges and dilemmas posed by the internet's vast and often uncharted landscape. It continues to provoke debates and discussions about the role of online platforms, content moderation, and the fine line between freedom of expression and the need for responsible oversight in the digital age. Channel 309 is a film that takes the concept of found footage to new and terrifying extremes. This film, directed by an unknown filmmaker, is a compilation of strange and disturbing videos found on a fictional television channel. Operating in the shadows, the anonymous director masterfully weaves a tapestry of bizarre and unsettling footage, blurring the line between fiction and reality. Channel 309 challenges our understanding of reality and the power of media to shape our perceptions. As viewers delve into this nightmarish journey, they find themselves in a disorienting world where the boundaries between what is real and what is staged become increasingly unclear. The film's found footage style blurs the lines between documentary and horror fiction, immersing audiences in a disconcerting experience long after the credits roll. The film invites introspection about the nature of the content we consume and the potential for media to manipulate our understanding of the world. It forces viewers to question their trust in visual information and challenges them to distinguish between genuine documentation and cleverly fabricated horrors. In a time when misinformation and manipulated media have become prominent concerns, Channel 309 is a stark reminder of the power of storytelling and its ability to influence our perception of reality. Channel 309 stands as a testament to the creative possibilities of found footage filmmaking, while reminding us of the ethical responsibilities of manipulating media to provoke visceral and unsettling reactions. As viewers navigate its haunting landscapes, they're left with an enduring sense of unease, questioning the boundaries of what is real and what is carefully constructed illusion in cinema. Squirmfest is the film that delves into the grotesque and the perverse. Directed by an anonymous filmmaker, this film explores themes of body horror and extreme sexual content that push the boundaries of what's considered acceptable in cinema. The director, choosing to remain unidentified, deliberately pushes the envelope of artistic expression, testing the limits of societal norms and cinematic conventions. Squirmfest challenges our understanding of taboo subjects and the ethics of depicting explicit and disturbing content. It confronts viewers with a relentless barrage of extreme and alarming acts, leaving them profoundly uncomfortable and, in some cases, repulsed. The film forces audiences to question not only the boundaries of their comfort zones, but also the ethical responsibilities of filmmakers when portraying explicit and controversial subject matter. The relentless exploration of body horror and extreme sexual content in Squirmfest sparks intense debate about artistic freedom versus moral responsibility. Some argue that the film is a daring work of art that pushes the boundaries of what cinema can achieve, forcing us to confront our uncomfortable truths about human nature and the darkness that can lurk within us all. Others, however, believe that Squirmfest crosses the line, potentially causing harm and normalizing disturbing behaviors. As a result, Squirmfest stands as a deeply divisive and thought-provoking piece of cinema that raises essential questions about the limits of creative expression and the responsibility of artists to consider the potential impact of their work on society. It challenges viewers to reflect on human existence's uncomfortable and disturbing aspects. It's a stark reminder that art can be a powerful tool for introspection and controversy, leaving a lasting mark on those who dare to engage with it. Vomit, Enema, Ecstasy 1 and 2 are films that explore the depths of bodily horror and degradation. These films, directed by a controversial filmmaker, are infamous for their explicit and nauseating content, including acts that defy description. The director, known for pushing the boundaries of cinematic expression, has created a series that is nothing short of shocking, eliciting visceral reactions from audiences and sparking intense debate. Vomit, Enema, Ecstasy challenges our understanding of shock value and the boundaries of what can be shown on screen. The film delves into the darkest recesses of human experience, exploring extreme and perverse acts that leave viewers deeply uncomfortable and disturbed. It's a deliberate assault on the senses, pushing the limits of what's acceptable in cinema. The explicit and nauseating content of Vomit, Enema, Ecstasy leaves an indelible mark on those who dare to watch it. The films force viewers to grapple with their reactions and question the nature of shock value in art. Is there a line that should not be crossed in the pursuit of artistic expression? Or is it the role of cinema to push boundaries and challenge societal norms? Vomit, Enema, Ecstasy exists as a divisive and polarizing work of cinema, with some arguing that it represents a radical form of artistic expression that dares to explore the darkest corners of human existence. Others, however, view it as gratuitous and harmful, potentially desensitizing audiences to extreme content and normalizing disturbing behaviors. In the end, Vomit, Enema, Ecstasy 1 and 2 are films that are not easily forgotten. They force us to confront uncomfortable truths about human nature and the power of cinema to elicit some intense emotional responses. Whether seen as a provocative masterpiece or an exercise in shock for shock's sake, these films leave an indelible impression on those who experience them, igniting debates about the boundaries of art and the responsibilities of filmmakers in pursuing their craft. Kuso Limitless is a film that revels in chaos and absurdity. Directed by an avant-garde filmmaker, this film presents a nightmarish collage of disturbing and surreal vignettes. The filmmaker, known for pushing the boundaries of conventional storytelling, has created a work that defies easy categorization and challenges viewers to embrace the chaos within. Kuso Limitless challenges our understanding of narrative coherence and the very essence of storytelling. It takes viewers on a disjointed and unsettling journey through surreal and disturbing images and scenarios. The film's lack of traditional narrative structure leaves audiences in bewilderment and awe as they grapple with each scene's sheer absurdity and unpredictability. In Kuso Limitless, the boundaries between reality and the dreamlike are blurred, and viewers are confronted with a relentless onslaught of bizarre and unsettling imagery. The film invites reflection on the nature of storytelling, prompting questions about the necessity of linear plots and coherent narratives in cinema. It challenges us to embrace the unconventional and to find meaning within the chaos. While Kuso Limitless may be seen as a challenging and disorienting experience by some, Others view it as a bold and imaginative exploration of the untapped possibilities of cinema. It is a testament to the power of the avant-garde filmmaking to disrupt traditional norms and expectations, pushing the boundaries of what is considered good or coherent cinema. As audiences navigate the surreal landscapes of Kuso Limitless, they're reminded of the diverse and boundless potential of artistic expression, leaving them with a sense of wonder and contemplation. The film is a stark reminder that cinema can be a vehicle for creativity and exploration, even when it defies conventional norms and challenges our understanding of storytelling. KT Trilogy is a series of films that explore the depths of psychological horror. These films, directed by an obscure filmmaker, delve into the darkest corners of the human psyche, where sanity unravels and nightmares become reality. The director, who remains relatively unknown, has crafted a series that is a relentless descent into psychological torment, unearthing the most unsettling aspects of the human condition. A KT Trilogy challenges our understanding of psychological horror and the fragility of the human mind. It takes viewers on a harrowing journey where the boundaries between reality and delusion blur, and the characters grapple with their own inner demons. The series is a masterclass in psychological tension, leaving audiences on the edge of their seats, their own sanity called into question. As viewers are immersed into the nightmare sequences of KT Trilogy, they confront their deepest fears and insecurities. The films are not content with a mere jump scare or shock value. They aim to probe the darkest recesses of the human soul, exploring themes of obsession, paranoia, and existential dread. It's an experience that lingers long after the credits roll as viewers grapple with the haunting questions the films pose. KT Trilogy serves as a reminder of the power of psychological horror to evoke profound and lasting emotions. It leaves viewers questioning the fragility of their sanity and the boundaries of understanding of the human psyche. It's a testament to the ability of cinema to delve into the most unsettling aspects of the human experience, forcing us to confront our innermost fears and anxieties. The Motel Files and Other Random Cuts is a collection of films that push the boundaries of experimental cinema. Directed by an underground filmmaker, this collection features a surreal and disorienting blend of visuals and sounds that defy traditional filmmaking conventions. The filmmaker, operating in the fringes of the art world, has created a body of work that defies easy categorization, offering viewers an experience that challenges their preconceived notions of what cinema can be. The Motel Files and Other Random Cuts challenge our understanding of cinematic art and storytelling itself. They take viewers on a bewildering journey through a kaleidoscope of abstract and surreal imagery, accompanied by an unconventional soundscape that creates an otherworldly atmosphere. The films don't conform to traditional narrative structures or linear storytelling, leaving audiences disoriented and intrigued. The Motel Files is a testament to the audacity of filmmakers to explore the abstract and unconventional. They invite viewers to embrace the ambiguity and open themselves to interpretation. Each film in the collection is a visual and auditory experiment, provoking thought and discussing about every nature of cinema as an art form. In a world where mainstream often adheres to predictable formulas, The Motel Files and Other Random Cuts stands out as a stark reminder of the boundless creative possibilities in experimental filmmaking. They challenge us to break free from convention and to appreciate cinema as a medium that can transcend traditional storytelling, leaving an indelible mark on those who engage with their enigmatic and thought-provoking content. Jinky Jinky 18, 19, and 21 are films that originate from the fringes of Japanese cinema. Directed by a controversial and enigmatic filmmaker, these films delve into the extreme and bizarre fetishes that challenge societal norms. Shrouded in mystery and controversy, the director has crafted a series that is as audacious as it is unsettling, delving into taboo subjects and exploring the darkest corners of human desire. Jinky Jinky challenges our understanding of fetishism and the limits of what can be depicted on screen. These films are a relentless exploration of extreme and unsettling content that leaves audiences in profound discomfort. It forces viewers to confront their boundaries of desire and repulsion, blurring the line between fascination and repulsion. The Jinky Jinky series raises provocative questions about the nature of fetishism and the portrayal of extreme sexual content in cinema. While some argue that these films are a daring exploration of the human psyche and the complexity of sexual desires, others condemn them as gratuitous and harmful, potentially normalizing disturbing behaviors. As a result, Jinky Jinky 18, 19, and 21 exist as polarizing and thought-provoking entries in cinema. They challenge societal taboos and push the extent to which on-screen representation can go, leaving audiences deeply unsettled and questioning the fine line between fascination and revulsion. These films serve as a stark reminder that cinema has the power to elicit intense and uncomfortable emotions, sparking debates about ethical responsibilities of filmmakers and the limits of artistic expression. Sadie Scream Volume 1 to 5 is a series of films that explores the realms of sadistic and extreme horror. Directed again by controversial filmmakers, these films delve into the darkest corners of human cruelty and suffering, often blurring the line between fiction and reality. These directors, known for pushing the boundaries of cinematic horror, have created a relentless series that explores sadism and extreme violence, aiming to provoke visceral reactions from their audiences. Sadie Scream challenges our understanding of sadistic desires and the ethical boundaries of storytelling. These films confront viewers with graphic and disturbing acts of violence and cruelty that leave them profoundly disturbed and unsettled. They force audiences to grapple with their morbid curiosity and the implications of consuming such extreme content. The Sadie Scream series sparks intense debate about the portrayal of sadism and extreme violence in cinema. Some argue that these films are a stark reflection of the darkest aspects of human nature, serving as a cautionary tale that confronts society with its own capacity for cruelty. Others, however, criticize them as gratuitous and potentially harmful, raising concerns about the desensitization of audiences to extreme violence. As a result, Sadie Scream Volume 1 to 5 is a highly controversial and thought-provoking entry in horror cinema. They challenge our moral and ethical boundaries, leaving audiences deeply disturbed and questioning the nature of their own fascination with the macabre.